Everything in those statements that I made does not match the crime scene. It's all made up off the top of my head, and that's what people should look at before saying that I confess to a crime. You know, I mean, they use that word confess against me, but it's confessing to something that did never happen in this crime. Somebody's going to come in the room and they're going to say, all right, you're a liar. We don't believe this never happened. But they weren't about to do that. They kept 3 days on and on and on and on interrogating me. Tell us this, tell us this. This is a lie, isn't it? So I would know when they kept saying that over and over, this is a lie. Take that out of there, you know. They would take it out of the statement, bring another statement, bring a stenographer and come in there and redo the whole thing over. Then they would make me initial where they had misspelled a word or whatever. I mean, it was total chaos. I will fight until I cannot walk another step. I will take chemotherapy until I am nothing but a babbling idiot to prove these people have done something really bad to me, and I feel like they should be held accountable. Austin? Oh man, that was rough. That was the most hard time of my life. The fights, the orderlies beating me up and injecting me with drugs, the shock treatments, you know, yes, sir. And that's why I say I knew I had something wrong, but I didn't know what, because nobody ever cared enough to explain it. They just sticking me with these needles and shooting me up with drugs and putting me in room, court order. A delinquent child. I was declared a delinquent child by Galveston County Juvenile Court. Yes, sir. And they put me in there, and it was madness. You know, I mean, you wouldn't believe what I would tell you. We were stripped naked and put in cells and fought. They would make us, like I would go in the cell next door and fight him, and they would bet money on it. And then I would get extra food or sandwiches or whatever, and they'd tell me next Saturday we're going to do the same thing. And they don't give you the injections of the drugs when you're fighting. But if you're marked up, if you're cut, you're scarred, then they put you back in the regular part of the hospital instead of the QR, what's called a quiet room, and let you heal up a little bit. Oh, he fell down, or, you know. My problem was I wasn't allowed to go home. So my mother never knew, my father never knew. When I tried to tell them, they thought I was making up more wild stories. Yeah, I would get in trouble for stealing, burglary, all this stuff, and the cops that knew me would come get me out of jail and tell me what's going on around the neighborhood. Tell me who's doing this. Tell me who's doing that. And that's how that led to all that. They would get me out of jail and tell me, you owe me. Get me out of jail. You owe me. Owe you what? Okay, I owe you. See you later. And I'd run off, right? And wouldn't be a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, I'm right back in the damn jail again. I couldn't figure that part of it out, how to stay out of jail, right? Man, every time I turned around, they was at my door. Max home, got a warrant for his arrest. My mom was like, why y'all keep blaming my son for everything that happened, right? Yeah, theft, like I would go in their garage, steal a bicycle when the door would be open. You know, back then, things were different, times were different. Garage stayed open, and steal fishing poles or stuff like that. And It led to a lot of arrests. If you look at my records, you can see a lot of arrests, and yeah, they would come get me and get me out of jail. But this entire thing started because of me. You know, I told them, I told the police officers that stopped me on the stolen motorcycle that after another officer threatened me who knew me, that I knew something about this crime. And when I did that, I knew I would be out of his custody immediately, and his thinking that he was going to put me in prison for life for stealing a motorcycle had come to an end. And I'd seen this case on TV, in the paper, in the reward, and there was this guy that me and him had a problem. And we were stealing all my mama's jewelry, her TV, selling it for drugs. And I told him, yeah, but he told me his dad was a cop. When he told me his dad was a cop, I said, well, so what? You know, my parents work too, right? He told me, no, we're not going to steal from my parents. And I started scheming to get him, right? I didn't know how, but I was going to get even. And I saw this case on TV, and the guy looked exactly like him. The drawing, the composite drawing that the survivor had made. And that's when I told my sister about a week before I got stopped on this traffic stop on a stolen motorcycle. Yes, sir. Yeah, that I was going to do this. And she told me, don't do it because they'll blame you. And I didn't listen to her. I got pulled over. This other officer, Jim Palmieri, comes up threatening me. I got you now, punk. I'm going to send you to prison for the rest of your life. And I told him, yeah, you think so? And what ends up happening is the League City Department turns me over to Galveston County detective who knew my family and knew me, right? And this detective started questioning me, asking me, do you know what you're getting involved with here? And I told him, yeah, I know who did it. You know, I kept to my story when he was asking me. He said, this ain't no joke. They'll kill you for this, right? And I was like, man, I'm not worried about it. I didn't do nothing. He did it. Die at home. I want to die at home. I mean, I've been here, I've done over a life sentence for a crime I haven't committed. There's compelling evidence in this case that proves who the killer is. When they started losing interest in my story, I started confessing to murders and robberies and kidnappings, and I had been stringing them along. We went to all these businesses, all these dig sites looking for dead bodies, and the only thing they found out there was a bunch of sun and a bunch of bugs, right? There were no dead bodies. We go to the stores that I confessed to robbing, never been robbed, you know, and they come out, all right, I told you, no more games, you know, and I'm doing everything I can to keep them interested. And finally, they just came in the room and they started saying, well, this is the way it happened, isn't it? This is the way it happened. This is a lie, isn't it? This is how the confessions were formed.